Well, to help us unpack the variety of issues, we are once again fortunate enough to be joined by Minister Tertius Simmers, who heads up the Department of Infrastructure in the Western Cape Province. He will, throughout this episode, outline how his department is utilizing partnerships with sister government departments like the Department of Health and Education to deliver schools and hospitals in the Western Cape. He will also outline collaborations with the private sector, some of which we've heard last time around in the first episode, and empowerment opportunities in his department and how they've helped to narrow the unemployment gap in the Western Cape. So if you're a young person, please drop us a text and engage with the Minister and ask your questions. Of course, we want you, the listener, to drive these conversations. Our WhatsApp number, 0829 913 913. And your questions, of course, will be answered in the next show that will be taking place, of course, on the 3rd of June. You can also engage with the Minister through his social media platforms. You can visit Minister Tertius Simmers on X using the hashtag @MIN or min_T Simmers. That's TSIMMERS, using the hashtag Community Matters. And of course, we will respond to those questions as well. Minister, once again, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for joining us on Community Matters.
Cool. Good day, and good day to all of our listeners, more specifically our youth component, because we are heading towards Youth Month, which is a very crucial month, and empowering our youth to help shape the Western Cape of the future.
And I think certainly today's conversation very relevant within the context of the focus on job creation in infrastructure, among other topics that we'll unpack today. Starting then with the issue of unemployment. We've seen recently Statistics South Africa come out with a report that once again, unfortunately, the unemployment rate has gone up nationally. However, interestingly, the Western Cape's infrastructure sector was one of the biggest drivers of job creation in the third quarter of last year. Share with us how the province has sort of achieved this and the lessons that could help address joblessness, especially among young people, and through the infrastructure department.
Well, indeed, quarter 3 of 2024 was a phenomenal quarter for us. It's the first time that infrastructure actually outpaced agriculture.
Wow.
As the main job creator in the Western Cape. We managed to create 42,000 jobs within that quarter. We contributed 56% of the overall Western Cape figure, which in itself was quite phenomenal for the Western Cape. But I think we were also the highest quarter-to-quarter statistics in terms of growth in the entire South Africa as a sector in the Western Cape. But it all boils down to crucial things which, as a sector, we've been focusing on since the 7th term of office has started. Firstly, we are focusing on growing the economy, realizing that infrastructure-led growth plays a phenomenal role in reaching that focus, because if our sector functions, if we work through partnerships, more job opportunities can be created in our sector, but within our own department. The biggest branch which contributed a massive portion of the 42,000 is actually our transport infrastructure, or roads as it's commonly called. And we have seen the ability of our department within the period under review being able to surpass all of its targets. Hence, when we went into the current financial year, which we are in, we have set ourselves an ambitious target of creating just well over 3,240 job opportunities in terms of this branch. We have set ourselves a 3-year target, again accelerating on our base of the third quarter to create just over 9,700 job opportunities over the 3-year cycle. But for us, more importantly, it's getting more youth as part of the focus area through this branch, given that our transport infrastructure or roads branch does focus on unskilled, semi-skilled, highly skilled employee base. So it does cover all the spectrum which our youth also falls under. Of course, this is made possible through maintenance. We are well known for our well-maintained roads, which we do annually. We're focusing on upgrading, most of the upgrading of our unpaved or gravel road network. But I think more importantly, into the new term of office is also how we seek to expand on our provincial road network in key strategic projects in the city of Cape Town, but also key districts across the Western Cape. Because we do realize that as much as our programs create job opportunities for our youth as well, a well-maintained road network also ensures more investment into our province. It eases the private sector doing business across our province because of our good road network, which creates more access to jobs for other youths through other sectors within our province. I think more importantly, it creates more markets to come into our province, across our province as well, and other service-related sectors within our province as well. Then there's the expanded public works program, which is, it does not create permanent jobs, but it creates a job opportunity, which our youth can ultimately add to the CV. We have now linked that program with SAQA accredited training as part of making it compulsory when you participate in the EPWP program in our province, that you must pertain an X number of hours of training through our service providers. Now, for the next 3 years, we will be targeting to create 313,000 EPWP job opportunities. 91,000 of those will be purely infrastructure focused. Of course, another branch of us which does phenomenally well, most of our young people, because it does speak to some of the interest, is our public works infrastructure branch. In the last year, we managed to create 625 job opportunities. I've had the opportunity to meet a number of these youth which participated in that program. So for the next 3 years, we'll actually be trying to create 2,255 job opportunities for our young people over the next 3 years. For this year alone, we've already set ourselves a target of 810, and we're just within the first quarter of this year. And I believe we are well on our way to actually exceed the first quarter target already. But for us, it's more than just creating an income. It's about creating skills development opportunities for our young people, because many a times when you apply for a job, it's what skills do you have, what qualifications do you have, what experience do you have. So our programs tend to speak to this living reality for our youth. But it's also how do we utilize long-term projects to ensure that our youth do build up a gradual experience timeline within our sector as well. But we will also now be introducing partnership with the private sector, because all of our programs have got various timelines, but we do want to see an exit strategy where our youth exit into the private sector, into permanent jobs. So a lot of our synergy is to partner with our private sector partners. We ensure that we enable through our tenders and our tendering processes that the local community then ultimately benefits through this, and that our youth can then benefit in terms of hopefully finding permanent jobs with the private sector. So we also created an enabling environment through our various programs. Again, partnership being the key, because our youth do need to see that by working together, that we can create a sustainable future for them.
Yeah, certainly important, and infrastructure being a big driver, as you mentioned, of that. Speak to us then about what the relevant programs are that will sort of help the department create more of these job opportunities.
Well, indeed, we have various training programs which focuses on the various skills levels within the Western Cape, because it is the reality. Not everybody wants to be an engineer. Not everybody wants to be a road technician. Some wants to be a boilermaker. Some wants to be a bricklayer. Some wants to be an electrician. Some wants to be a plumber. So that is the living space within which our youth function, within which our programs have been designed to adapt to. And we also have new graduates which work within my department. So I will touch on the various programs which speaks to this living reality. So in terms of our young graduates, we do focus specifically on the engineering and built environment professionals, to ensure that as they complete their tertiary studies, that they get absorbed to gain practical experience, so that they can ultimately also showcase the ability to the market as well. But we also have youth empowerment and skills development programs for those who did not go to a tertiary qualification level. And here we offer construction-related skills programs, we offer artisan training, we offer apprenticeships. Again, I've managed to visit some of our sites in the last week. But we also work through the National Youth Service Opportunities program, where we target youth between 18 and 35. But we also try to cultivate those youth who want to be emerging contractors. Again, some do not want to work for people. They want to expand the opportunities by being an employer of fellow young people. And here we have empowered youth, specifically women, young women. We have also ensured persons with disabilities partake in this program. Then there's a program very much unique to this Western Cape government. It's called the Masaki Sizwe Bursary Program. Here we identify young people at high school level already. They've had to have received acceptance into tertiary institutions which we partner with. It's been going for more than 15 years now. Just for this current calendar year, we've already ensured 101 bursaries have been awarded to successful participants in this program. But what makes this program so unique, given that we seek to help the less fortunate young and upcoming aspirant technical field individuals, is we cover your entire tuition. We cover your accommodation should you need accommodation. We provide you daily meals. We cover your daily transport. We buy all your books. We buy all your required materials. But I think we also, and because our team here are all former teachers who work within this unit for us, we also give you assistance should you struggle. They work out a program for you. And our lead there used to be a departmental head, and she is, believe me, quite firm with these students. So we also then through her ensure that these young students are kept on par, on pace. But what makes this Masaki Sizwe bursary program so unique for us, the private sector also contributes. And once you go for your practicals, we have seen various construction sites absorbing our students for the practicals. And some of the students have also been now employed permanently once they do get the tertiary qualification. So through our partnerships, we tend to focus on building hope. We tend to ensure that we secure a future for our young people. The only thing they must do is play their part. Study, pass, study, and pass. But we've also seen this program change lives. I have been honored to deal with students who are the first in their family to go get tertiary qualifications. I have seen a young girl being able to buy her mother their first home, who they can own through this program. So it's an enabling opportunity, but also creating a better future for the entire family by one intervention.
And in that way, perhaps also securing the, having to be able to have the professionals that we need to take the province forward. In many instances.
And look, indeed, again, over the last 15 years, if I just include the 6 years that I've now been the minister, we've assisted just under 1,000 young people. Some of them are doing their masters, some are doing their PhDs in the technical fields. We have been able to ensure that we have future town planners, which we can assist local government with, because there's a lack of town planners. So all the technical fields, and believe me, these young people are energized with the introduction of artificial intelligence into their fields. It's phenomenal just to observe these young people and their ability to adapt, but they love to give back to the people of our province.
Yeah, no, that's certainly important. We have, of course, one of the beneficiaries of the Masaki Sizwe bursary. Now, obviously, obtaining an engineering degree is just the first step in the process of becoming a registered and professional engineer. The Masaki Sizwe bursary beneficiary, Zina Steyn, successfully registered as a professional engineer with the Engineering Council of South Africa in October 2024. And, of course, thanks to her hard work, dedication and participation in the Department of Infrastructure's Professional Development Program. Zina graduated in mechatronic engineering from Stellenbosch University in 2019 and needed real work experience and knowledge of new developments and technology to meet the Engineering Council of South Africa's requirements for professional registration. She joins us on the line now. Minister, grab your headphones. Zina, thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, as mentioned, for making time to speak to us. Tell us a bit more about how you learned about the Masaki Sizwe bursary and take us through your enrollment for the bursary, rather.
When I was in my first year, I actually didn't have a bursary. And as my academic year was coming to an end, I thought, okay, what opportunities are out there? And as you said, I was at Stellenbosch, and they have a platform where you have all your modules on, etc. And on there was just a tab with bursary options in it. And I thought, okay, let me just start applying and see what will happen. And Masaki Sizwe was one of those bursaries. And then after applying, I can't how long it was, but I just received a phone call saying that my application was successful. The process of enrollment was quite simple. They're quite upfront about what's required, what situation you basically need to be in to qualify. And I just followed those steps and enrolled and was successful, luckily.
Of course, you mentioned that you, in your first year, you didn't have a bursary, and we often see students, unfortunately, being stranded at university due to funding issues. Speak to us then about how the Masaki Sizwe bursary impacted positively on your journey at Stellenbosch University.
It really made a big difference. I can't even explain. From being in first year and living at home, I didn't even live far from the university, but because of how populated Stellenbosch is with the students, it would take me an hour to get there in the morning and an hour to get home in the afternoon. And studying engineering, you have class the whole day and you have to be there. So when it came to my second year and I had the bursary, they gave me the opportunity by providing funds for accommodation and for my books and for my meals. And it gave me the space to only focus on studying and getting the degree. And then even further to that, if you are struggling with a module or you need to repeat something, they offer the opportunity for you to get a tutor so that they ensure, you are in the space to do your best and help you when you're struggling. So it's really made such a big difference at that time. There's no words for it.
Yeah. You've also, as we mentioned in the introduction, successfully registered as a professional engineer with the Engineering Council of South Africa. How has that sort of assisted you in your career path going forward?
It's assisted me on my job search. I've since started a new job, and I've actually noticed when I registered and I started just looking what opportunities are out there, I noticed that quite a few companies are looking for that now. I didn't think it was such a common thing. Maybe it's just the circles that I'm around. But yeah, the places that I've applied at, it seems to be a requirement now. So having it has definitely been an advantage.
Yeah. What would be your message to the Department of Infrastructure, and what can you say to those who perhaps want to be enrolled in institutions of higher learning that may, like yourself, be in a situation or position where you're worried about funding?
To the Department of Infrastructure, all I can say is a big thank you from giving me this bursary, assisting me in getting my degree, and then even further to that, providing me with a job and the space to grow professionally, essentially leading up to my registration. All I can say is thank you. And for those students wanting to study further, go to a tertiary institution, my advice would be to apply. Don't think that when you're reading the requirements, oh, this doesn't sound like me, or what if they think my marks aren't good enough, or anything like that. Just apply still. You never know what people are looking for, and you could be the right fit, or it could just work out in your favor.
Zina, firstly, congratulations on the new job, and then secondly, everything of the best for the career that lies ahead for you, and we certainly look forward to benefiting as residents of the Western Cape from the good work that you'll be doing throughout your hopefully long career.
Thank you so much.
That Zina Steyn joining us. She is one of the beneficiaries of the Masaki Sizwe bursary. Minister, what does getting experiences like that, what does it do in terms of the work that you've put in and how these programs are sort of changing lives?
Well, first and foremost, infrastructure is a male-dominated sector. Let's start there. And here there's another qualified female engineer in the field who's aptly registered with a professional body. It does speak volumes to our commitment to seeing more females entering a male-dominated space. Secondly, it's also to ensure that, and as she rightfully said, she could focus on her studies. The rest was all catered for, which is very, very important, because studying in any technical field can be quite cumbersome, and if you have financial constraints or worries, it actually distracts you a bit. But by ensuring that you are focused, we ensure that you can deliver and pass to your full potential. But more so that even after she completed the studies, she came into the department, we afforded her an opportunity. She's now professionally registered, which we also assisted her with. And that opens up so many doors. Again, in a male-dominated sector, to hear more and more females entering our sector, it really, in Afrikaans sal ons sê, it's a riem onder die hart. And being able to give back to your community in some form or another, staying committed to our province, to build the Western Cape of the future, and she's now part of that machinery that will ensure we can do it.
My name is August Engelbrecht. I'm in the Dean of Engineering's office at Stellenbosch University. I'm responsible for recruitment of potential engineering students, but I'm also assisting my colleagues with student support and retention. And I'm very happy to also reach out to companies that can offer bursaries and financial aid to these students. Well, one such company that I love working with is, of course, the Department of Infrastructure here in the Western Cape. Many years ago, they started a bursary program called Masaki Sizwe. I have seen over the years how many students who started off studying engineering with the help of a Masaki Sizwe bursary have completed their course successfully, and that they are now in industry working as engineers. Many of them are employed by the infrastructure department or other departments within the Western Cape. They're making a difference in the lives of others. But Masaki Sizwe have given them the support that they needed to be able to help others through their engineering skills. So this wraparound program that Masaki Sizwe offer, and the regular visits of them to our faculty and our university, speaking to students, having workshops with students, taking students on camps. Even the Minister of Infrastructure, Minister Tertius Simmers, I'm regularly seeing him around our campus, visiting our students and engaging with our students. And so Masaki Sizwe have really made it possible for our students to reach their goals of becoming engineers. And Masaki Sizwe is even assisting them not only with a job at the end, but also they assist them to qualify as professional engineers and to be accredited by the Engineering Council of South Africa. So I can only say it's a pleasure for me to work with Masaki Sizwe, because I believe that Masaki Sizwe is making a difference in the life of South Africans.
Now, Minister, you've been touching on, and talking about the technical trade industry. Speak to us about what that sort of entails. I mean, you've been touching on this for on a number of occasions thus far in this episode.
Well, indeed, the technical trade industry has various fields. It's engineering, construction, manufacturing. These are all skills that are actually crucial to infrastructure delivery. That's why we have the NYS program, which has specific aims linked to that. It ensures that we create readiness for these young people to be ready to work in the built environment. That's why we, through this program, provide skills, but also training, technical training and practical experience training. Our participants are ultimately also supported to transition from being a student to doing your practicals, going out into the field, getting the real life experience, because what you read in books and what's in the field sometimes are worlds apart. We also ensure that it is viable for you to do so. But I think more so it's the long-term economic opportunities post-training in the technical trade industry, which is, I think, very important for a lot of our young people, given that you continuously need to update yourself, improve yourself, because this is a sector that is not stagnant. There are more and more fields where you see the development of technology and artificial intelligence playing a massive part in how this specific technical field is now maturing itself. You and I spoke in the last session about the energy sector, which in itself has various sub-technical sectors which young people really can find value in. I mean, Megatronics, which she has now embarked on, which I must still figure out what Megatronics does, to be quite honest.
You and me both, Minister.
So, that does showcase how wide the technical fields are.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing is that we prepare our young people for the world, not just for our own province, because we have produced phenomenal, technically sound, qualified engineers who are working across the African continent. And many of them have come through the Masaki Sizwe program and other programs that focuses on developing technical skills for the technical fields.
Yeah, and obviously there'll be that long-term benefit back to the province as well to have these expertise. Minister, I wanted to also just shift focus and perhaps just also touch on the education and health infrastructure. But I just sort of with a broad overview of your department's role in terms of facilities for departments like health and education.
Well, look, our department is not just about bricks and mortar. Let me start there. It's also about uplifting communities. People do tend to forget that is actually what infrastructure does seek to do at the end of the day. Last year we started an initiative on Mandela Day where we said, how can we go beyond brick and mortar? How can we show the softer side of infrastructure itself? And ironically, this has now become a permanent commitment. It's part of the culture of my department. We have managed to hand over 52 laptops. We have managed to hand over 79 desks in less than a year. We have managed to ensure that 93 office furniture items were handed over to needy schools and institutions, from Clutersville to Malibu here in the city of Cape Town to Snake. But fair genoeg, but you asked me about education and health facilities, and why am I starting with that? It shows our commitment to partnership, but showing the softer side of infrastructure itself. And which is why partnership with the health sector is very important for us. Given that the health sector itself is modernizing, we have one of the most modernized healthcare programs in the country within our province. And, we do take pride in partnering with our sister department. We have seen the Biala Regional Hospital, which is phenomenal. We have the Klipfontein Regional Hospital, which is it's going to change the health sector in our province. But we also have ongoing programs which we are part of in terms of renovations, refurbishments, but also maintenance now. Mental health post-COVID-19 has become a massive focus area, I know, for my colleague in the Department of Health. But you do need the APU projects and the facilities to ensure that your focus is then tangible in brick and mortar,
Indeed, yeah.
so to speak. So the Easter River Hospital APU, there's a 30-bed psychiatric unit. It's opening later this year. I would love to go and visit it with my colleague, of course, with her permission, because it will reduce pressure on the system. It will reduce pressure on the emergency centers, but improve the treatment quality overall in that specific area. Similar APUs are also being developed in Caledon Hospital. It's being developed in Khayelitsha District Hospital. It's being developed in the new Somerset Hospital. But we also have a number of projects that are designed for future expansion, which means we might do one component of that development as a partner with the Department of Health, but they themselves are gearing themselves up for the future as well.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Minister. Of course, once again, just shifting focus very briefly, wanting to just touch on land and housing development as well. What are some of the key initiatives that your department has been engaged with regarding land and housing developments in the province?
Well, it's important to understand that there's an ever-growing demand for housing or settlement assistance within our province. And on the other side, the Department of Infrastructure is focusing, how do we accelerate the delivery to meet this demand as it's growing? Obviously, we will firstly focus on well-located land. We will ensure affordable housing is developable there. But we also need to address spatial injustices of the past. So we focus on mixed-use development to ensure that we break down the barriers of the past to shape a future where barriers do not exist anymore. One such example is the 3 inner-city projects you and I spoke about during our first show. We are well on track to create 3,500 affordable opportunities within the inner city. But we also have to acknowledge the role of the private sector, because they do have the capital to do it, and they do it a lot faster than the public sector can do. One such sod turning which I did in Bellville was the Monarch Lifestyle Living Development, which is done by WCB Property Developers, a group of young, energetic young men. The development will create 255 affordable housing units. And when I engaged them prior to the sod turning, to have a 70% pre-sales within 10 days.
Wow.
Just on paper. People have not even seen the final product yet. It does speak to the massive need that they will be addressing just under phase 1. But it also shows the confidence that the market has in our sector's focus on affordable housing, but also in the area of Bellville, which we know is also focus area of the city of Cape Town. Then there's Conradie Park, our exemplar, our blueprint into the future. There we've been focusing on affordable housing. We've been focusing on modern amenities being part of this development. But we've also now ensured that public services are drawn into this, because that corridor, you will see the transport sector development. There's going to be a My City route that's going to be developed. Then we're about to embark on expanding the network together with the city of Cape Town in the surrounds as well. But the Better Living model is more than just affordable housing. It speaks to where you live better, where you can work from there, you can thrive there. All happens in one place. But we've also seen innovation being introduced to address the need for affordable housing. In the area of Cape Agulhas, when I was the Minister of Human Settlements, I introduced what is called the Millpark Deferred Ownership Program, where we played the role of a co-developer. You would rent the house for 3 years, and a portion of your rental will then be then credited to you, so that you can either buy it through a bond, or the expansion of the first home finance. So indeed, the Cape Agulhas Millpark Deferred Ownership pilot was quite unique. Again, a lot of people thought Cape Agulhas was a place in Cape Town, so we got close to 5,000 applicants. But the pre-sales, it's going quite well. It's been phenomenal. It's been a game changer. So we are seeking to implement that within the city of Cape Town, so that people of the city of Cape Town can actually benefit now from it. But it's also community collaboration that is needed, so we can address the spatial reform, which has been a focal point of a number of community groups. And we had the first interested and affected party meeting in terms of 353 on Main, or as it used to be called, the Old Tafelberg High School site, where we engaged. Our department showcased the 3 options to the interested and affected parties. Of course, it is an ongoing process in terms of public participation. But in all of these examples, whether private sector or on our own, we have shown a genuine commitment for spatial redress by ensuring spatial justice does become a reality in the inner city, but also in the broader context of the province. But it's also showcasing how the state, in this case the Western Cape government, through the Department of Infrastructure, utilizes reallocated land in the interest of its citizens to live a dignified life, so they can have access to dignified housing.
Yeah. Just to perhaps expand on that particular issue, another one, 30 plus years post-democracy, the conversations around land reform and restitution persist. Speak to us, considering the show focuses on collaborations and partnerships, how, your department is partnering with municipalities and national government to identify suitable land for land reform and land restitution that will essentially work and benefit the province.
Now look, indeed, partnership is key, and it plays a bigger role when it deals with land acquisition to address spatial injustice and also deal with land restitution. So here we work collaboratively with municipalities. We work with the relevant national departments, given that more than one department deals with this. But I think above all, also there's the Housing Development Agency, or the HDA. So we can say how we can release reallocated land, but more so state-owned land. The goal ultimately through all of this is to advance spatial justice, to ensure restitution happens at a rapid pace, but also that there's inclusive growth in all of this, that we don't seclude now by seeking to redress the injustice of the past. So how does land acquisition and the development process work in all of this? We need to understand that when it's private land acquisitions, municipalities negotiate with private landowners. They then apply through my department for housing allocation. There's the Human Settlements Development Grant, which does then pay for the purchase of such land. We then transfer the funds through to the municipality so they can actually do the assessments firstly, and then also ultimately the purchase of the piece of land. Where it's government to municipality transfers, because that does happen. Firstly, there's no cost involved, which does make the transaction a lot quicker. But here, we as a department does ensure that it's for public service delivery only, not for private usage. When it's government to developer model, again, this is another form. This is where we sign and talk about land availability agreements. This is where land is released on tender to private developers, which Leeuwloop is a very good example, which is the part of the tender process. The land remains under the ownership of our department until the completion of the project. Prorated payments are then made by the developer to our department until such time when the developed properties are transferred to the developer. This ensures that we remain in control of the asset. It ensures proper accountability because we are utilizing state-owned land, which is supposed to be used in the interest of our citizens, but also ensures that the value retention remains within the department itself. Then finally, in the last journey of such an agreement, we'll see the final sales agreement is only signed between our department with the end beneficiary, not the developer themselves. Then you get subsidized housing eligibility, which is another form of that, which is where the purchasers in such a transaction must meet the National Housing Code criteria to qualify for these subsidies. So we want to work smart. We work strategic in terms of our land investments. We prioritize a curated selection of prime properties, which you and I discussed last time. There's 23 of them at the moment. We focus on vacant land that is desirable for development, but we also ensure that they are in well-located areas, because our aim is not only just to serve our people, is to ensure we support long-term economic growth and the creation of asset wealth for our people. The Tafelberg 353 on Main, as we now call it, because the name Tafelberg site has a very negative connotation to it. On Wednesday, we had an interested and affected parties meeting. Interested and affected parties had to register because we want a controlled environment where, as a department, we outlined 3 possibilities for our portion of the site. Remember, the other portion is going to be utilized by the Department of Social Development. We tabled 3 variable options. All 3 options had a mixed use component: social housing, which is affordable rental, first home finance or affordable housing assistance, but also open market, because the open market component does cross-subsidize the other 2 components to ensure that it is sustainable and to ensure that the cost per unit is also well within the bracket or market which we seek to target and introduce into the inner city.
Yeah. And Minister, you touched on in the first episode and in this episode as well some of the big targets that have been set by by yourselves at the infrastructure department. What did you say would be the most challenging part or aspect of those targets and the delivery and meeting those targets?
Well, the one thing I think which has been a massive cumbersome task to deal with is the illegal occupation of land that is earmarked for settlement development. You do a lot of planning. It takes up to 3 years to go through all your processes and get your approvals. And for some other reason, people then illegally occupy either your land or even sometimes your buildings, which is earmarked for possible development. They obstruct delivery because they now prolong the time it takes for the state to deliver on their plans. You have to rechannel funding from development, from planning to securing your sites, and also to approach the courts to evict these people from your land or your occupied building. And we have seen litigation takes up to a decade at some times. Again, the previous Tafelberg site matter has been ongoing for more than a decade, which is a very prime example of when litigation is introduced in the process. When you seek eviction orders, again, there's legal costs. Sometimes there is the cost of transferring or moving people from the site, which was never part of your original budget to start off with. So I do want to appeal to communities when we have been engaging you for a number of years, kindly ensure that if it's a greenfield, as we call it, green piece of site where we are about to go and develop, please help us protect your site. The activists who are passionate sometimes, who invade the parcels of land, you are actually hindering service delivery. You are not contributing to it. You are creating unnecessary cost streams which could have been factored and channeled towards actually true delivery. Work with government. Don't work against us. We are here to serve. We are not here to actually hinder service delivery if you work with us. Because at the end of the day, some beneficiaries have been working for decades. And now they must experience litigation. They must experience us dealing with having people evicted. And all of this makes them just wait longer. And we do want to see our people really live a dignified life. But we have also seen other forms of delays, which further increases the levels of anxiety because of that. We have seen timelines having to be shifted, where we are dealing with unnecessary budget cuts from the National Department. We recently spoke about the unilateral 300 million rand, which was just taken away, or the use of data which still does not make sense to us as we are sitting here. But through all of this, me and my department have remained committed. We have been remained resolute in how can we deliver, even with all of these challenges on our journey, to ensure that we deliver on our mandate. So, yes, we stay focused on reallocated land. We stay focused on affordable housing in this province. We are the best performing province in the country by far. We also wish to ensure through all of this our people get a dignified housing opportunity by also being innovative and introducing new forms of affordable housing into the Western Cape, which we will be introducing within this new financial year as well.
Minister, I'm going to ask you to once again just grab your headphones. We've got Lelita on the line. Lelita is someone who has been interested in youth learnerships and attended some community information sessions in the Beaufort West area. Lelita, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pasir.
Tell us about your experience at the community information sessions.
Okay, I'm busy with that right now, sir. My name is Lita Sodaha, yes, correct. All I can say is that I've been on the information session in Beaufort in Western Cape with South African Youth Mobi and the Western Cape government and all the local departments. All I could share about the community session, it's about that it's quite a great and a well thing to do as the government of the Western Cape when they are about to bring jobs for the communities as a whole. To not start exactly from or to not give out this project to the municipalities, but calling upon the communities for these community sessions and all that stuff. It paints a great thing to the community because of everyone is getting informed about the thing that is going to happen within the community. Because of such informations as well are things that are getting hidden from us as the communities, according to the political affiliations that we are into. So I just want to say it's a great thing what the Western Cape government is doing by gathering the whole community to inform them about these things. And we've saw great platforms like South African Harambe and all of those who are also willing and have eager to assist us in order to apply for these opportunities that have been given out by the Western Cape government. I think that's all.
Lelita, thank you so much for joining the conversation today. Minister, response?
Well, indeed, Beaufort West was a phenomenal experience. We call it a service delivery fair. The name Jamboree has too much negativity surrounding it, unfortunately, in the Platteland. There was over 2,500 young people. I addressed them. We had all our key partners were there, and to finally see the youth respond to my call of saying, step up. You must take ownership of your future. We can empower you about opportunities, but we cannot force you take up those opportunities. It's in your hand. And Lita is one of those who took up that opportunity, was afforded an opportunity. He attended the services fair. And well, the rest, as I say, is history. He has crafted his own destiny.
Yeah.
And we are just here to create the environment and the opportunity for him to do so.
Minister, then in conclusion, what's your message to the young people of the Western Cape?
Well, firstly, shows like this is done to empower our youth about what programs the provincial government, through the Department of Infrastructure, is making possible for our youth. Sign up. Or as the Premier said, step up. We are here for you. Sign up for these programs. We also encourage our youth to attend our services delivery fairs or DOI services expos, which we will be embarking on through the entire youth month across various sub-councils and also in the non-metro areas. So hook up, follow us on social media to see where we will be. But also understand that there's opportunities in waste management, which we will be talking about at these expos. Roadworks, given its vast capacity for job creation and skills development. Building maintenance, which many of our young people are interested in. And the success of Beaufort West. And a few weeks ago we were in Nova Park. Again, in Nova Park, even well over 2,000 young people, more so females, attended our services fair. Because our commitment as a provincial government, and my department is fully committed to this, is how do we enable economic growth that creates job opportunities, but how do we provide you the skills so you can take ownership of your future while growing the economy with us in the Western Cape.
Well, a reminder then to our listeners to engage with us and ask the Minister any questions you may have. You can send through those questions and drive the conversation by sending your WhatsApps to 0829 913 913. And a reminder, all of your questions will be answered in the next show that's taking place on the 3rd of June. You can also engage the Minister through his social media platforms by visiting his X page. That's at MIN or min_T Simmers. That's TSIMMERS, using the hashtag Community Matters. And of course, as mentioned, we'll respond to some of those questions on our next show. That's on the 3rd of June. For now, Minister, thank you so much for your time once again. We look forward to chatting to you again.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing our youth on the road as we take our services fairs to every breadth of our province as far as possible. And again, to our young people, it's your future. Step up, own it. We will create the environment for you.
Minister, thank you.
Thank you.